move forward because like there's you can't go back in time. You can't change the past. Like you have to like, see like okay, what can you learn from the situation? What can be done for next time? And like try to think about it in a more like futuristic perspective versus focus on like just being happy because I think in the end of the day like if you're happy then like and you're like trying to strive for that happiness, like everything else will fall into place. The moment like that because I think that's what the world needs more of, like is this like level of directness because I feel like everyone's just so not direct all the time and it's
Yeah.
like frustrating like if
Hello and welcome, everyone. It's been a long wait, but I'm back with my very own podcast. And today I have a very, very special guest Ashna. Oh, I almost fumbled there.
every-
I'm so excited to have you on here. I have known you for about 2.5 years now, I think, and I think you're amazing. And I wanted the world to know how amazing you are as well. So I want to do this podcast with you. I'm gonna get started with the first question. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you want every listener to know.
Yeah, so my name is Ashna. I was actually born in the East Coast, but I moved down to Houston when I was pretty young. I think at the core, I really like, creating experiences and like bringing people together. I've always kind of been that person basically my whole life, whether it's like in my community where I live or like with other people who like to dance or people into Bollywood. I think that's just kind of what my calling is, or even like voluntary events, just different things like that. I'm also like a mom. I'm also married. I recently started my own company as well called Pataka Productions. And I also co-manage a Bollywood dance team with one of my friends, Vedahi. But yeah, I think apart from that, I just like to do fun things and spend time with my friends and family.
Awesome, awesome. So my next question is very obvious. I think everybody wants to know how you do so many things, right? So I know that you dance, you own a like dance company, you run a dance company, you're a co-founder for a dance company, you have another company where you throw all these cool parties and you work full time and you have two kids. You have 3 kids. He would be so mad if I didn't mention
Yeah.
that. But you have, okay, 2 kids in here, and then you have a dog. And I'm not asking this because, oh, you're a woman and like it's like hard for women to balance. I'm not coming from that perspective. I think it's just for a human being to do so many things in general. I think it takes a lot out of you. And I think somewhat like our personality is very similar in that sense, where I want to do a lot of things as well. And sometimes it gets like really stressful. But I've never seen you stressed. You're always smiling. You always have this positive energy around you. How do you do it all? Like what does it take to be Ashna?
Okay, well, so the first thing I would say is that, like, I know I don't seem stressed, right? Sometimes it can seem like someone has it all together, but I also have my days where I feel like I'm losing it and it's too much too. So I definitely don't want it to seem like, oh, she always has it together because I think that, and anyone I think that does it all can relate to that, that like it can seem a certain way, but everyone has low days, everyone has low points. And I think in those situations, the best thing is having like a really strong support system, I think, to kind of get through those moments. But as far as like generally, I would say that instead of it seeming like a time management, I think for me it's more like energy management. And so like I like to pour my energy into things that light me up, whether that's dancing or planning events or spending time with my kids. I even picked like a job that like I don't like hate. Like I actually enjoy a lot of the stuff I do at my like 9 to 5 as well. And I think that when you like focus on the stuff that like gives you energy and feels you, then it doesn't really seem like work and it doesn't seem like you're doing it all. It kind of just seems like you're doing what makes you happy in that moment and you're living like in your like true alignment. Of course, like that's a I guess what happens majority of the time. But like I said in the beginning, sometimes there are days where things don't go as planned or like you get sick or like my kids are sick and like in those moments it obviously then it does feel like oh my god there's so much to do and I think that's when it's important to have a strong support system. And I have family that lives in Houston. I have a lot of friends that live in Houston and like everyone's always willing to like help out and stuff like that, so I think that makes it a lot easier too.
Right. So do you sometimes prioritize like, okay, I have a lot going on, I have a lot on my plate, so maybe I have to say no to certain things. Do you do that? Do you prioritize?
Yeah, I think like when it gets in those like high stress moments, I like to forget everything and say, okay, what is urgent? Like not like, oh, I need to plan like one of my kids like soccer thing. It's like, okay, like someone is sick or like there's a big deadline at work or there's like a dance competition coming up. Like they're just urgent things that will always like take priority because of the urgency. So in those situations, I'll just like make a mini list of my like larger to-do list of, okay,
Yeah.
what is urgent? Because everything's important. You can't be like, what's important? Everything's important. But like, what is urgent? Like, what needs to be done that day? And then I'll just kind of focus just on that. And I think sometimes once you kind of get through like the urgent tasks, like that momentum is kind of there too. So like sometimes that'll kind of carry me to like even start doing other stuff. But at least like the urgent stuff will get prioritized and completed.
Yeah, I think that's so important. I think one thing that you just mentioned here, planning. I remember you showed me the planner you had and how color coded it was. I need this in my life because I will sign up for everything, right? Because I want to do everything. And I don't think about, oh, I need some time to sleep, to eat, to use the restroom. I don't even account for those things. But I think I definitely need to plan better. And I'm gonna ask for some tips from you definitely on that. So kind of tying into the question that I just asked, how you do all of these things and you're always positive, right? How do you motivate yourself to stay positive? Because whenever I've talked to you, you're always smiling, you're always happy. And as you said, it's not like that always. You have your bad days, right? But what does it take to stay positive like you do? And I think you're a way more positive person than I am. Like if I'm sad and if I'm like not feeling it, you'll see it in my face. Like you can tell that I'm upset. But with you, it's like whenever I'm around you, I just like feel this positive energy.
Yeah, I think it's about like not really ignoring the bad parts or the sad parts, but it's just like choosing perspectives and like seeing that, okay, like life will have its ups and downs, but it's like your mindset plays like a big role. So I just feel like when I stay positive, I like attract better energy. And then my outcomes just end up being better overall. And I also feel like my kids kind of motivate me there too, because I always think like if I was advising them, what would I say? Would I let tell them like and I actually do try to do this. So when something first happens, I actually let myself feel however I want to feel. And I think that actually helps me be positive because if I try to pretend like something doesn't bother me, I feel like that negative feeling actually stays longer. So I like let myself feel the initial feeling of anything. But
Right.
because I let that happen, that period ends up being so short. So like it I think that makes a big difference. And I teach my kids that too. Like when something bad happens, okay, like immediately like feel it. Because I think so much of like the life that in the world that we live in, we like feel like we just have to like put up this like barrier and just like persona of ourselves. And I think that ends up actually hurting us and making people more negative in the long run. So when my kids feel upset, I tell them the same thing. I tell myself the same thing. Feel what you want to feel, let it all out, and then move forward because like there's you can't go back in time, you can't change the past, like you have to like see like okay, what can you learn from the situation, what can be done for next time, and like try to think about it in a more like futuristic perspective versus like dwelling on the past. But in order to actually get to that point, you have to at least initially feel what you want to feel. So
Right.
I think a lot of times people don't see that side because I let it happen and it's like initially, and I let it happen as much as it wants to at first, and then it's done and it's gone and then I'm okay again.
Right.
And I think yeah, like I said, I do the same thing with my kids, and like I want them to approach life like with resilience and joy, and like I think that the best way to do that is like I said, just feel and then move forward.
Right. But I also think that you're not reactive. You just like, am I correct? Like you feel it, but you're not like you don't instantly react, or do you? Because I am like that.
I think it depends on the situation. I think I let like a lot of times I'm not because it doesn't feel like I need to be. But then sometimes if I feels like it's natural, like if I just feel like I have to cry, I actually don't stop it. It's just
Okay.
that I think because I know I'm allowed to feel whatever, sometimes it doesn't even come out because I'm not holding back. I think so much of like there was a time when I was like younger where I felt like I had to like be a specific way or be a specific person, and I would hold back. And I think that actually made me more upset and more sad. And now that I feel like this sense of freedom of like I can feel whatever I want to feel, a lot of times I don't end up actually getting upset. But when I do, I let myself feel it. It's just not all the time.
Right, right. Um, My next question is there anything specific you want to share with all the listeners? I think most of them are going to be dance people because I mean you're a celebrity among like our dance.
I don't think so, but yeah.
But anything specific you want to convey to everyone who's listening this right now?
I would say that don't let anyone tell you that you have to fit in like a certain box. I think so, like especially I feel like right now it's like there's so much push and like, okay, if you're like this, you need to behave a certain way, or if you're like this, you need to be like this. And I think that you can really just be yourself and like, like if you're a parent, like you can still like dance and be creative and dream and like do all these things. That's not like, okay, once you have kids, like you have to forget all this. And at the same time, it's not like, oh, because you want to do all these fun things and you can't have a family. I think, everything's just about balance and like different things are always obviously going to take priorities at different points in your life. But like whatever passions you have, like I think everyone should feel like they can chase them and focus on like just being happy. Because I think in the end of the day, like if you're happy, then like, and you're like trying to strive for that happiness, like everything else will fall into place. The moment that you start worrying about, okay, what are people going to think, or how is this going to look, or like does this make sense, like once you start thinking about all these things and you really limit yourself, like you're only setting yourself up for like disappointment in your own self, right? And if you live true to yourself, like you can't disappoint because you're proud of who you are, right? And I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, be your biggest cheerleader. And you
Yeah.
definitely give me off that energy too, because I love like praising myself. And I definitely see you as a person too,
And
who's
I
like
love
always
that
like,
about you too. I love that about you. And I was just telling my brother-in-law too that's visiting. I was like, I love Felicia because she'll just say what's on her mind and like won't let anybody or any situation like derail her from that. If she feels a certain way, like you will know Felicia feels that way.
oh,
And I like that because I think that's what the world needs more of. Like, is this like level of directness? Because I feel like everyone's just so not direct all the time and it's
yeah,
like frustrating. Like if everyone just spoke their mind all the time, I feel like so many problems just wouldn't exist.
yeah.
So
Instead of assuming and like just
yeah, like just be
speculation.
direct. Just say
Yeah,
what you feel, have the conversation. Like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Definitely,
So
definitely. All right,
yeah.
I've got one last question for you. I know you like have so many things going on right now. Do you have anything else planned, like your next venture, maybe a third company? Like, I don't know.
No. No, no. So I actually, the only thing that's coming up, I'm releasing this new platform on Bollywood Houston, and it's going to be a little bit more dynamic than like the current post. So like also like be able to do all the current posting and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
it's going to be like a platform which has like all the different stuff on the calendar, and it'll have like a monthly view and a weekly view and a daily view, and you'll actually be able to like sign up for classes from there like directly, and you'll be able to like add it to your calendar.
Wow.
So it's going to be like really cool. And like, I guess like the best part is like it being dynamic because right now, like I do post on the page, but it's,
Yeah.
it's a snapshot, right? So
Yeah.
this will be like as far in months in advance that there are classes scheduled, you'll be able to see it in like one spot. So
Wow. And you can directly like book through that link on the page
it'll
or
take you to the other site to book
that's
because
amazing.
yeah, because like some instructors have websites where you can book and some have like Google Forms, right? So it'll take whatever their way of payment and way of booking is, it'll kind of direct you to that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's amazing. And
yeah.
by the way, your page, Bollywood Houston, has changed my life because earlier I would be like, oh, let me go to that dancer's page and that dancer's page, and then you just have everything at one spot and
Yeah.
you do that. I think I was having this conversation, I don't know with who, I think it was Damini or someone, I don't remember, and we just looked directly on your page and okay, we have all these classes on this week, and it just saved our so much time. Um,
I'm
yeah,
glad.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
they really do say like the best things are like what you feel like you need. And I felt like I needed that because I was getting so overwhelmed and I was like making these like calendars for like essentially just myself. And then I was like, why don't I just share it with my friends? And then I was like, wait, like I have like why not just share it with like the whole community? Because like everyone's my friend. And so
yeah.
it just kind of took off from there. But yeah, I find it use I use it so much that I'm like, even if no one's using this page, like I'm using this page. So
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think I know you already had that, but I think it was such a selfless deed on your end. Like, okay, let me just create this calendar that helps everybody. And I know, I mean, like people know who you are and whatnot, but I think it was like such a nice thing to do. I can't think of anybody else who would have come up with that idea other than you. So thank you for creating that page. Anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to ask me or anything you want to mention before we wrap this up?
No, I think that's good. I think what you're doing is amazing. Like I love that you're getting back because I haven't seen like the podcast in a while, so I'm like really excited for you that you're getting back into it. And just kind of happy and excited to see like what more you have coming your way too.
Yes, yes. I think the last one I did was with Adya. And
Yeah.
I've been having like I've been struggling to get guests on this because they'd be like, "Oh yeah, well let's schedule it," and then it just gets pushed back. I know Snehal promised me a podcast, and I'm gonna get one out of her like maybe in a year, 6 months, I don't know, but we'll definitely do it. But hopefully, I can get more of these out there. And once we release this one, I think people will be like, "Okay, Ashna was there. Let me go on there as well."
Yeah.
So I think it will like hype more people up about this podcast. But
Yeah.
anyway, that is it. This was a very short and sweet conversation, but I think it was a very good content. Thank you
Mhm.
for sharing about your life, what you do, how you balance everything, and it's just always nice to talk to you. And you look really cute. You look
Oh,
really cute in
thanks.
that.
This
Yeah.
is
I've told you this probably a million times. Whenever like I'm like you're so cute.
Oh, you're the best.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for listening to this podcast, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.